Everybody, we're going to talk about those fires here in Southern California that aren't very far away from Santa Clarita. But let me get into the daily inventory. Currently, in the last 7 days in Santa Clarita, we've had 8 coming soon listings. 69 properties are placed on the market new. This is very much the regular trend for most years as we start the beginning of every year. 2025 is no difference. So 69 new properties have been placed on the market just in the last week in all of Santa Clarita Valley cities. To see those, you can just go to santaclaritaopenhouses.com and you'll be able to see every one that's there posted that's in the multiple listing service, so all of them. 49 properties have had their prices changed. A seller's a little bit overzealous in their pricing strategies right now, but that will probably change very soon as we move into February and March. We do have 26 properties that have fallen out of escrow. 16 properties are active under contract. So those are properties that have gone into escrow. 37 property pending. Those are properties that have gone deeper into escrow. So that trend is a little slow for this time of year, but that's not unusual coming through the holidays. Once we get into February and March, we're going to see those numbers double. So instead of the 27 closings, we're probably going to have 60 or 70 closings every 7 days or so. We have 7 properties expired, 9 canceled, 11 put on hold, and 3 withdrawn. Okay, so here's the fire issue here in Southern California, and it affects real estate, well, in a big scale, because these poor people lost their houses in many different areas. They lost their shops, they lost the schools and those sorts of things. So that does change the property value dynamic quite a bit. But on top of that, it also has the insurance companies taking a double look at other areas. So if you're living in an area that might have hillsides or might have had historical fires in the past, that's something that insurance companies are going to look at, and it could impact your ability to sell if you wanted to get out of the state of California. If you're coming into California, you want to buy a house, that could impact your ability to purchase one, because without insurance, the bank isn't going to secure or give you a loan on the property. Now, if you're paying cash, that's a different animal. But again, you're still probably going to want to have insurance unless you're self-bonded, you carry some kind of an owner's policy. But that's an entirely different level. That's mega rich people doing that stuff. But for all of us regular folk, we're probably going to want to have insurance, because if you have some gardener over and he trips and falls and breaks an ankle and he sues you, it's not a life-killing suit. You actually have homeowners insurance or some kind of a policy that's going to help you through that mess if in fact that happens. And there's 1,000 other things. Fire, of course. Flooding, of course. Earthquake, of course. But if insurance companies are unwilling to write you the policy, then that's an issue. And those are things you want to check out early. So the advice now is you start that process even before you get your house on the market for sale. If you're thinking about selling, if you have an insurance company, don't just think it's all gravy and sunshine and rainbows. It could be that you call your company and they say, well, what's going to happen when I sell my house? Well, we're not going to insure any more properties in Southern California. So once you're done and everybody else is done, once you're finished, you sell your house, we're not going to renew your policy. In fact, you might have already gotten a notice that they're not going to renew your policy when it comes due because they're leaving the state. So then the question to ask is, well, where's the new buyer, the one that you're going to sell your house to? Where are they going to get insurance? And they might not be able to get it. And then that's going to create a problem. Then they can't buy your house. So do those investigations early. A few suggestions on that. You can go to your insurance agent and find out if in fact they're still writing policies, and then have that information prepared. So when a buyer, you do get your house on the market, we list it for sale. And this is the advice I give to all my sellers. Then when that buyer comes in, the work's already been done, and say, call this cat, he's an agent, he works at this company, and he says he already has the policy on this residence, he'd be more than happy to renew it. That open door is probably going to give that buyer other access points to other types of insurance out there. So that's going to be very helpful. If you're buying a house, the question to be, and probably the most nimble type of insurance agent you can tie up with is going to be a broker. So kick out information to whichever broker in the area you like, and they're not all created equal either. Just like on the mortgage end of it, some of the mortgage loan brokers, they're very much tied up into making a certain amount of money is what it would seem. So they're reluctant to give particular types of loan programs. And then on the other side of it, you have them very happy to give other types of loan programs, creating an issue. The home insurance game's kind of the same. And the only reason why I say that is I've worked with brokers in the past that couldn't get things done, and then I found other brokers that could. So if one broker, here's the point, if one broker tells you they can't do it, don't let that be gospel and the word of God and you stop. I would call up a couple others and find out if there's any difference. And I know that we had a closing recently where the broker that they were tied in with wasn't able to get it done, and the broker that I was associated with was. And it was at a much better rate, much better deal, and they have insurance on the house. So they're not all created equal. But I would do that prior to really starting that real estate search. Reach out to a broker, especially if you kind of have an idea, an area that you're looking for, and say, listen, are there certain types of houses in certain locations in a certain zone that I should stay away from or you can't get insurance on? That might be something to think about. Now, when you're driving around in Santa Clarita, you're going to see hillsides. You're going to see brush-filled hillsides. That's something to consider as well. If you're buying a house at the top of one of these hillsides, that could create an issue, and you might not be able to secure insurance, especially at this time. Now, the fire season and this issue, this is going to hopefully trickle away at some point and not be as top of mind. We'll see other insurance programs come into the state of California, other vendors, these sorts of things. But right now, just like when we have the earthquakes, after an earthquake, every property that's in process, that's in escrow, everything stops. Nothing moves until they do their due diligence and figure it out, because insurance companies, well, they're in the business because they make money. If everybody was paying out all the time hand over fist with policies and people claiming damages, and they were always doing this, there wouldn't be an insurance world at all. They wouldn't make any money, therefore it wouldn't make sense for them to be in the business, because they're not going to do it because it's a right thing or ethical thing to do. Research that. I'm Connor with Honor. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Be well.